All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our first October morning coffee review. How you doing today, Michael?
Doing good. It is starting to cool down here in Arizona, so I am a happy camper. And it is October, so it's great.
All right. Fall is certainly here up in Minnesota. As I was saying, every year, every single year, once those leaves start changing, I should probably mark on my calendar that I'm going to start to get allergies or a cold or something. So I'm feeling a little under weather. So if you see me muting or dropping my camera real quick, it's because I'm probably sneezing, but that's all right. Today, we're going to talk about, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about XCON,
Yes.
which is kind of what we talked about last week. But yes, last week we were leading up to it because we were going to attend. And now it's been a week later. New things have come up. We went to different XCON sessions. We learned new things. And today we kind of want to share some of those, as well as, leave it open. We've got another exciting thing, not necessarily Bluebeam related, but in conference relations. All right. If you've never been to a conference, there are other conferences for other software. And here at ATG, we're an Autodesk Platinum partner. Autodesk also has their own conference, which is Autodesk University, which is a huge thing. It's been around for many years. Tens of thousands of people will attend. And you know what? Today, Michael, our own Michael, is going to be teaching a class at Autodesk University. So this is a huge accomplishment. Proud of you, buddy. Good luck today. If anybody else is registering for Autodesk University today, it's free this year. So hop in there, go cheer on Michael's class.
Thank you.
But let's talk about Bluebeam.
Yeah, I was going to say.
All right. So Bluebeam Conference, Bluebeam Extreme, XCON. It was pretty cool. That was the first one that I've done. And I was impressed by some of the classes. There was a couple that I tuned out pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
But they had an announcement that they were kind of vague about. The single sign-on. Did you hear that?
Yeah, the cloud-based single sign-on. And that kind of rose some questions as well along the way. And is that all inclusive to one cloud solution? But it was kind of confusing all at the same time because they were showing off Rover, they were showing off another solution. So is it all rolled under one name now, or is it was just a little confusing for me? What do you think?
That's a good way to put it. Like, this is a pretty big thing to announce, right? They're going cloud-based. Now, does that mean subscription? Does that mean, whatever? But you'll be able to essentially sign in on an iPad, sign in on your phone, sign in on any computer. And when you do that, what I thought was really cool, when you sign in on any computer, right, all your tool chest, all your customization is going to follow you. So all that stuff's going to live in the cloud. That's fantastic. It's going to make life really, really easy. But again, they were a little vague on that. But I thought it was interesting, their timing, because I didn't mention timing. They said it's their future goal. Is this next month? Is this next year? Is it 5 years down the road? It's where they're going. But then again, that's where a lot of software is going, subscription based. But they didn't really say if it's going to be subscription. They just said cloud based. So that should make it easier.
They just said single sign-on. So you can relate that to what we have for Autodesk products, which is single sign-in, right? Where you're signing in by user ID only to sign in, where it's no longer installed single use on the computer, right?
Right.
So is that how it's going to be maintained, right? Is that how we're going to log in? Cloud-based licensing structure for everything. I get the idea. I just would have liked more clarity behind it.
Yeah, it was kind of a big bomb to drop without much clarity, but it's still nice to know because, for one, it's going to raise up the question, just as David mentioned in the chat here. It's going to make questions for lots of folks. Yesterday, I had a call with a firm who's still on Bluebeam Review 2016, and they're like, "Well, do we upgrade? Is it time to upgrade?" And I was like, "Well, it could be. It sounds like Review 20 might be the last perpetual license."
Yeah, because they're saying Review 21 will be at the first half of the year. I don't recall if they announced when the cloud was going to be released. I know that their guidelines for Review 21 was for the first part of the year. I don't remember. Did they say a date for that cloud?
Nope.
No.
Not even a whisper. They didn't say next year, next month, whatever. It's like, okay, it's coming.
Yeah.
But who knows? So if you are looking to upgrade, you might want to hang out a little bit or reach out to, wait for Bluebeam to give us more information so we can pass it on. Because as soon as we know, you'll know, to just help you make those decisions. If you are looking at getting new licensing or anything like that. I thought that was pretty interesting as far as Bluebeam as a whole. But the big part of XCON is all the classes, right? There's all these different people from all over sharing their stories, talking different things. I went to a couple that were really great. I went to one that I left early. I'm sorry, but
it
probably,
happens.
it happens. I still need to go back and watch a couple more because one of the cool things is being able to go back and watch those videos.
Yep.
So I was going to do that this week. But what'd you attend? What stuck out to you?
I think Liz's class really stuck out to me just because of that programming aspect and more inclined towards those types of classes. The ability to run scripts and have that kind of free-form area of open API, right? When I think back to other softwares like Revit and using Dynamo to help me work through some workflows, I think it kind of chimes right into using JavaScript within Review as well. And it was really intriguing in how intuitive, I guess it was, in comparison to thinking it was a lot harder of a workflow to do and learn. So it was just really revealing on the ability to already have prescripts posted in the JavaScripting area, allowing you to type in just almost like we're already doing with custom columns for say, right? When you're going through and you're saying like an expression is going to be this times this or something like that. So I thought that was really revealing and really awesome of a class to kind of get the wheels spinning. So
yeah, and this is where obviously we don't rehearse these morning coffee reviews because I was going to mention the same class, right? We've talked about JavaScript here on morning coffee review before, and that's it's an extreme only function to be able to do some of these those things. I'm terrible with coding. I can do some Lisp from AutoCAD, but that's hurts my brain a whole lot. And I've done a little bit of Python with GIS stuff back in the day, but I'm way removed from the coding world. And JavaScript does open up a whole bunch of new things that allow us to do certain automations inside of Review. And Liz had a class that really did make it intuitive. It makes me want to explore a little bit more. So I'm going to put this on you, though. David asked in the questions, what does the use of JavaScript allow you to do in 10 words or less? What do you think, Michael? 10 words or less. What does JavaScript allow you to do? Oh, where's my, see if I had.
So you know how, I was funny because I was watching The Matrix recently because they just put on HBO. So you know how in The Matrix they have the key maker who opens up a lot of doors, right? Allowing you to go to different areas. It's kind of relating to that. It allows you to open many doors in your workflow, is what I would say.
I think you got it. It's early. I'm not counting. So that was y'all for show.
The sentence was, it allows you to open up many doors in your workflow.
And I think that's, yeah.
I just had to explain where I was getting the answer.
Yeah. From. Like what can't you do in Review right now? That's where JavaScript can possibly help you. It can do automations. Yes. So I have a confession. I saw Matrix once and I think I fell asleep. I don't remember it. So I need to go revisit it as well. David, maybe we'll have a watch party. No, just kidding. I know they're trying to make that a thing. Need to do a coffee review and show us what it can do. Danny, once we get that figured out, once Michael and I actually start applying JavaScript, we're going to be here sharing it and showing it off because that's the type of stuff we like to do.
She had one that she showed off at the very beginning, which was the ability to flatten an email right away with a click of a button, because you can apply your JavaScript to a tool bar, but it would be a command like icon is what you would refer to, so that you're just clicking that and it brings you to it. Again, so it's just creating an easier workflow. It's how you would automate your processes. So if you're looking to quickly automate any of your current processes that are taking you 3 or 4 different clicks, the way to do that would be using JavaScript. And I didn't know that you could post it into an icon like a toolbar, which was pretty revealing. That's the same thing you can do in Revit when you're creating a Dynamo workflow. You have the Dynamo plugin that allows you to do the player. So in the background, if you have other colleagues that don't know how to use Dynamo scripting, but you want them to have this easy workflow that you've created, you can create a player button that then all they have to do is hit play.
David just nailed the proper term, macro.
Yeah.
It runs a macro. In Revit, AutoCAD, Excel, a lot of computer programs use macros, and that's basically what JavaScript is doing for us. Very, very cool. So speaking of automation, came up yesterday. I had a customer ask, why would I want Bluebeam Prime? And I was like, well, you can automate things with Prime. And this is kind of in that same vein. So I'm starting to wonder, again, haven't played with it much. Does JavaScript and Prime play together? Maybe.
So it would, because you're applying the Studio Prime functionality to integrate into your different software. Hold on, let me go Studio. There we go. So this would be in collaboration with Procore or Ignite, right? These other third-party storage PDF solutions. Because that's one thing that they were talking about right off the bat in their opening comments, was the ability to have a seamless document shareability. So we're not having duplicate documents, right? Was what they were really key on. And that ability to use Studio Prime with integration to your other solutions that you have as well. And that automation, what you were talking about earlier, right? Not having to go through and recreate studio projects. So if you wanted to go through and automate that, you can have it in here as well, such as a folder structure with subfolders. You don't have to worry about going through. And I think we did this in a morning coffee review before, but showing how you can quickly create this. And this is a different subscription base. It does not come with your perpetual licensing or the open licensing that they have. It would have to be a different subscription base to get Prime.
Right. And prices fluctuate depending on how many users you have and stuff like that, but it is a separate thing. But those automations, again, for some people, it will change their day, change their whole life, their workflow. Other people, it's like, well, whatever. It's interesting to see how people are using the software. Question from Doug. Does Prime get you all the functionality of Extreme? Well, they're different, right? Because Prime is on top of your Extreme or your CAD or your standard. It doesn't really care. It's mainly for managing your licenses, your studio, your automations, your integrations. What's the use case, Michael? Why would a firm go to Prime?
So I would want Prime if I wanted to integrate my documents with a third-party solution that it allows me to, or from a managerial aspect, if I'm worried about someone leaving the company, needing to switch over the project owner, needing to gain insights, data on what's happening in our studio projects, studio sessions. This is the area that I'm going to run that. Again, I've had a question too from a client that was wondering, well, hey, if a end user leaves our company, how can I quickly switch over them as from the owner of their project to me? You can do that directly in here as well. So all of that can be done in Studio Prime. You can also go through and gain any analytical data that you want from any of your active projects or any of your active sessions. So if you wanted to go through and select a session that you wanted to run it from, like my demo sessions, I can say, what activity am I going to look for, or statistics. You can pick through different dates. I can see what users have been added to those specific items. So we can go through and say, let's look at Jason Artley. What's his date and range that he's been doing things? So I'll just do last month, right? We could see activity that he's had.
I feel so on the spot. Look at that. I did a lot of morning coffee review stuff. Huh, look at that.
All his markups, everything.
But check
that
it
he's
out.
done.
Look at my notes, my comments, all those things. You can see what people are doing. And it makes this fantastic from that managerial spot that you're talking about.
Yep.
Very handy.
I
Now,
probably have some from my file share. Let's see.
Does that work with sessions or projects too?
Projects too.
Can I, for a session owner, can you revoke it from there, or not revoke it, but reassign it?
I believe you can from the project. So if I go here, I can go down and say, I wonder which one I want to do. So I can transfer the ownership to someone else. I'm not going to transfer it to you, but I could.
I mean, you could. I mean, I've got the time, but anyway, yeah, very cool. So we went off of the rails a little bit. That's what we do here. If you have any questions, if you've got any things out there that you want us to talk about today, today's the day to do it, because we're happy to go and discuss new workflows or discuss whatever thing. So we got a lot of folks online, a lot of new names and a lot of familiar names. Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to Morning Coffee Review if you haven't been here before. And we've got people out there on YouTube Live as well. So if there's any questions about anything Bluebeam related, whether it be Prime or Studio or drawings or review, or I'm missing one. What am I missing? Ooh, we got a question from Doug, and it's on topic with our thing today. Man, sorry, David. So many D names. Is there any functionality that we hadn't seen before XCON? I'll pitch this one to you first.
We hadn't seen live or from a video. Is that the? I guess I would need clarity, right? The only functionality that I hadn't seen utilized before was that cloud. We haven't heard of that. We are a platinum partner, but we didn't hear or know about that either. We did hear about Rover. Rover's down the line as well. I think that was pretty much it. There's, of course, workflow related things that we didn't know that I gained more insight on as well, right? I've never worked on the con part of the industry, and watching some of the field construction items, that all of my knowledge has come from questions and talking with clients from that industry part, but it was great to gain more insight along that industry partaking.
I think I learned something that was something that I've been looking for many, many years. All right. So my background's in civil, and part of that is GIS, and the geolocation of things. And it was part of the cloud function that they were teasing, was having that ability to have multiple people be on the job site or whatever. And what they showed, and I don't know if it was smoke and mirrors or some sort of editing magic, but someone was able to, they had an example of like a missing fixture plate, right? So like there was an outlet up on the wall and there wasn't a plate on it. And that was something that was in their punch list. And as they were walking around, it seemed like the phone was sort of geolocating them to the space on the site. And I was like, how in the world is that happening?
Oh, it looked like it was a point cloud in my mind.
Yeah, there we go.
It looked like they inscribed a point cloud into the Project Rover, which I haven't seen done before. I know you can do a map system in it, but I've never seen it looked like a point cloud and it was assigned to a location in the point cloud that you could click it.
Yeah, that thing was cool, because instead of being in the field where you say, okay, I'm in office 115, I'm on the east wall, and entering your spaces and your information, this actually knew where you were already. So it's got to be related to that point cloud or somehow some sort of geolocation, which is, interesting.
Well, you can
Was it-
even relate that to how take it a step further. In my mind, would be 3D PDFs, right? Geolocation to that element that was assigned to it, right? So wheels spinning already.
Yeah, and it's like, well, how do you do that? Because if it's GPS, it doesn't really work inside of a building, so there's the technology's coming, and I haven't been following along as much as I should have, but I thought it was really cool because that would simplify everything, right? Yeah, pretty cool stuff. All right, we got some interesting things from Doug here as well. Preview for next week. Doug's going to be filling in for me on the morning copy review, but
Yes.
Doug says that he learned that you can do a global boundary setup for dynamic fill, and also learned how to clean up the autofill lists. Ooh, a global boundary
A
setup.
global boundary. Okay, so we missed that one. What is the global boundary, Doug? If you can walk us through a quick explanation. Yeah, that autofills list was one good one too. Preferences. Okay.
Oh, and didn't we do like a whole show about all the things that are hiding here in the preferences?
Yes. I'm guessing it'd be under tools, maybe.
Oh, reviews being slow. Maybe I'll fire up mine
Edge
too.
sensitivity. Well, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see. I'll fire up my review too, and that way it's two people looking at the same time, right? I think I've seen that somewhere, but it's obviously
Global fill. I did have the same question when Amanda was here from a client about how to access your SharePoint and remembering to have this checked. Selection dialog box is what you want to have, because then it brings open that second screen when you file open, right? I guess I dechecked it and didn't recheck it, but it will open up your second dialog to access your SharePoints if you have any of those. Tools measure. Is there a global?
That's that. No, I think it meant under preferences.
Oh.
But that is so in that dialog box is the one that gets me all the time. Momentarily hide markups. I really don't like that one. It always screws me up. Side note.
So you have it unchecked?
I unchecked that. Yep.
Oh, because it doesn't populate them before?
Well, when you run dynamic fill, it hides all of your other markups.
Mm-hmm.
So what if you want to fill in one of your markups and have it be separate from actually taking that shape and applying a fill to it? Or if you want to see, like, did I do this spot or this spot already? Like, I want to see those things.
So it's under the boundary size right here.
Yours is set to 100. Mine's
just out of the box.
Mine says 100% as well. Oh, you can go above. Whoa, you can go above 100%. Interesting. The minimum is 25. Okay. But default is 100. Good to know. Fill speed, boundary size, 200%. Ooh.
So if I reduce that percentage, what does it do for me?
That's something I've never really played around with. Whoa. That's pretty weird. Try that. So go back to the dynamic fill. And I think most of those settings are adjustable inside the dynamic fill tool as well.
Oh. Is it?
Yep.
Oh, it is. Okay. So I know boundary size is the thickness of it because that's more of like a door issue, right? Where
Right.
you don't want it to be too large.
Yeah. Don't cross that line.
Yeah. Because if it is larger, it's thicker.
Right.
I didn't
And
know it
that-
was the same one of what that is.
and because that does affect how the actual fill gets placed in around it, right? So in your second example where you have it super thick like that, when you create that dynamic fill, it's going to make curves around those sort of rounded edges. So that's
and
where
it
that
stops right here too.
Yep. It'll affect your areas if you're using it that way. It will affect your spaces. So it's a valuable tool. I don't know why you'd want super huge other than maybe you just want some rougher numbers.
But I get it, global boundary. So like it by default, right? So you don't have to go in and use the scroll bar and change the sizes as you're going in. That makes sense. So then you don't have to worry about going and rechanging it each time on what you want it to be at.
Because again, that is in the preferences that could be deployed for everybody then.
Yep.
So if you know that you're having errors or something related to everybody making giant boundary sizes, boom, let's just deploy standards for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a topic that we've covered when Kyle Davis was here, right?
And it has all of them. So fill size, fill speed,
Mm-hmm.
what you want it to be deployed at, what your color is going to be at, your boundary. So this would be all of them. Use legacy preset behavior for the subject and
Persist behavior. What does
label.
that even mean?
So that's probably these. What is it going to use automatically by default properties?
Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
guessing. Because these tie to your tool sets, right? So it's going to be interesting when this cloud login. So are these going to also change with it, right? There's got to be a lot of behind the scenes work if I can just log in by a user based email.
Yeah, that is going to make things pretty interesting because they talked about like tool set stuff. They didn't talk about all the tools and preferences and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see how that changes deployments, how that changes everybody's workflows, but it sounded pretty cool. And technically, if it was truly cloud-based, wouldn't that mean that it would be accessible on an internet browser? Or will it be like an internet version, or will it be like still something you have to download?
I think there was a hint to that, right? I'm trying to recall every part of it. I think there was the ability to log in anywhere, right? Does anyone remember that part?
Because think of how that would change the field workflow. You wouldn't need an iPad. You wouldn't need a Surface Pro. You could potentially get a much cheaper device.
Yeah,
or use your phone.
But the question would be, what about internet connection for those instances, right? If it is URL based, you'd have to be connected to the internet.
Well, hence cellular. It'd be still cheaper to get that device where the Surface Pro doesn't have cellular. An iPad does, but it costs double, So if I can go out there with something much cheaper, that's going to mobilize review in a way that, it could be cost prohibitive now. Yeah. Elon Musk has a solution for that. With
I was going to say, because
Starlink,
even if you even have cellular, does it have 100% workability at the job site? Usually you're still intermittent sometimes, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see. We're at an exciting time for technology. I mean, not just with Elon Musk's Starlink, which is pretty exciting. They actually did a test community like about 15 minutes east of me. So like this small town in Minnesota is fully set up on Starlink. And that was like one of the first communities to get it. And so far the speeds aren't, the speed and the cost don't add up to me replacing my my cable here. But I think it'd be really cool, especially for somebody who has dreams of camping and spending more time outside.
So there was one thing, the ability to add a leader, but you can do the same thing by holding shift. So shift, wasn't it shift?
Well, shift is doing something.
Yeah, you can add another leader. No, come on.
You know what? I think we're onto something here, Michael. And I'm just going to say it. So Shift and Control offer some really cool modifiers inside of Review. I think it would be fun to see ones that we don't even know about. I bet you we've got some people that tune into the Morning Coffee Review who use Shift and Control in ways that we don't use or other people don't use. I would like to see a pretty neat trick with Shift or Control. Who's got one?
I'm pretty sure this was what it was.
So David is saying, let the Shift key go after clicking on it. So you click on it and then you let the, whoa.
It didn't. So hold on. It didn't add one. So.
Oh, you're trying to add another leader?
Let the Shift key go after clicking on it. So hold Shift, then click. Okay, there we go.
Oh, there we go. So you're adding a leader just with your Shift modifier, not having to right click.
You have to left click. So you're saying, hey, add one, and then you're left clicking. You're not holding the left click like I was.
That's a neat trick. See? I learned something new today.
So it's a left. Okay, because it's saying add. I get it now. See how it says add?
That little
See
plus.
The plus symbol right here? Then you're left clicking saying to add it. Yeah. What about over here? No.
It's only from that main vertex, huh?
Oh, and then you subtract it.
Oh, with the same Shift command?
Yep, holding Shift and pressing that left node.
Look at that. Pretty cool. And now you're left with a text box.
And it wasn't a text box originally. It was the call out.
Does a property stay text box now or still say call out?
Let me check. Hold on. Call out still. So I wonder, what about this? Can I add a secondary call out to my? No. Oh, but you can remove nodes. Look at that here.
Can you add a vertex then in between them?
Boom. No, it just lets you subtract.
Weird. So that's what's so unique about those Control and Shift modifiers.
There was a plus. Yeah, so you just click along the line. See the dash line?
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Whoa.
Control and Shift. Always there in the background. The silent heroes of Review. They don't get the love that they deserve. Because that's how we're going to toggle all types of things, right? Making our lines draw straight, adding and removing vertices and callouts like you're seeing Michael demonstrate right now, moving your area labels. What else can they do? So much. Play around with it. That's what we're doing right here.
Well, that's the original too, like the Control C, Control V for markups, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Control Drag Copy. That's pretty standard Windows item. That also works in other softwares too.
Speaking of Windows,
what about
was yesterday the Windows 11 release day?
Was it?
I know it's downloadable for free. I'm hoping that people don't just go nuts with this and start adopting it right away. I have a feeling.
I didn't know there was a new Windows coming out.
Yeah, Windows 11.
Wow.
It doesn't look a whole lot different, but it looks like it's got some cool stuff. I'm thinking I might install it on my Surface Pro just to see what happens.
Oh my
won't affect my work at all. What?
Look at that. So
what did you just do?
From here, see if I hold Control, it's going to add an arc. Check that out. Watch. So holding over.
Start over.
Okay.
So you did a polygon?
A polygon. Holding Control, look at it. It gives me the arc symbol. And I just click it.
Get out of town. So it's like a fillet.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's a good one. That's going to be
I can even minus it too.
Huh. Well, that's a really
you
unique...
can't do the last one, I guess.
That's a shape that you wouldn't be able to create natively.
Ooh, look at that.
Wait it. Well, that's cool. A little teardrop. We'll flip it over. Get it tattooed under your eye. It'd be fun.
Well, maybe it's like a comment. Here you go. Right? Like that's an issue you need to address.
Yeah, that could be a good custom symbol for that
Mhm.
comment type of thing. Now, if you double click on that, could you do that comment thing like you can do with a cloud? Did I see you just do that?
Yeah, you always can double click on any item. Okay, let me restate that. On most markups, if it has the ability to attach a comment to it, you double click and you add the comment, and that will add like, we'll just say RFI because that's my new RFI symbol, 20201. That's the comment associated to it, and it's right down here. You can even see it over here, but yeah.
More Bluebeam review party tricks. I always love it.
I didn't know the arc thing. That was pretty cool. Let's see about Polyline.
Who would Polyline allow you to spline and switch?
It still does if you hold control. Minus, it doesn't let you add though. Oh, it does let you add at any point. I'm guessing you could do the same thing here. Nope. Oh, I got to click it first. Yep.
So David wants to know, how is that different from convert to arc?
It's not.
Yeah, it's really not that different. It's just instead of right clicking and doing that, you just use a keyboard modifier.
Yeah, which is just shift or control.
Pretty weird.
What about a line? I mean, what about the arc? Can I make it into a line?
See, but
no.
I don't know if you
won't let me do anything.
have that capability. So it looks like the arc is okay. So the arc is on a segment. So right click, convert to arc is on a segment, but are you changing to an actual point when you're doing that shift modifier or control modifier for your polyline?
Am I changing the other changes the point to a curve? I don't know.
On the actual point when you're doing that. The node.
Yeah, the node, it's from the point of the node. Yes. But what's the other one?
Actual segment.
Okay. Yeah. Because this one changes the segment, but it's not at the point origin, if that makes sense, right? Because it's from there to there versus the intersection of the point, which is what this is doing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Grips are different.
Yeah, see, because it's giving both endpoints when you convert it to an arc versus it being the origin of the point of where you created the arc. So this one has two endpoints. This one has just the one.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
So instead of it being from here to here, if I converted this, or sorry, from here to here, the whole line would be converted to an arc, and these would be the rotations. If I convert just this point to an arc, it's just the point, right? Now let me do this one because it's going to be here, and here is going to have this drag symbol because it's converting the endpoints there and there. So if I convert that to an arc, right? See.
That's a good find. That's a pretty unique change. So, yeah, it does change the grips and the spline control line, whatever that technical term is.
Yeah, because see this, I don't know if I could make a circle probably from this versus having to use the ellipse. What can you do with the ellipse shift?
So this goes along with,
nothing.
Yes, we're drawing squiggles and making weird stuff, but if you're doing custom symbology, these are great tools to have in your back pocket to make those unique shapes.
I agree. Is there anything from the YouTube world
Helps with takeoffs too. Yeah. Especially if you're trying to trace something. Absolutely. So I had a call.
I wish you could add a comment for this one, but you can't.
What do you mean you can't? You can't.
Oh, you
double-click
can
on
make
it?
you can make an arc in here too. Look at there we go.
Well, that's fun.
I wish you could right click and add comment like you can for the text or the call out. So I wish they right click and you could say call out comment.
Yeah. That would be cool. But Cloud Plus.
Yeah.
I mean, usually.
But I
you're
mean, that's
thinking
like the
ahead.
same thing with call out versus text, right? You can
Right.
change the text to a call out with a leader.
Very true. I like it. I like
What
it.
else? Oh, the sketch to scale, by the way, which we talk about very rarely, is a huge thing as well for people that are trying to do takeoffs or interior design planning, right? So if you have a scaled, I was talking with a client the other day about that. Because if you, as long as you have your scaled document, you can sketch to scale with these orange color icons. It's also under tools. And you have sketch to scale. So if you're ever needing to sketch items to scale on your document, you have this ability right here with these tools.
Yeah, and we did a whole episode about drawing to scale, as far as using review as a CAD replacement. But we don't really talk about it a whole lot otherwise, do we?
Nope. So you can create details that way, right? So if you wanted to open up a new PDF, right? And it doesn't matter what size the PDF is, you can always set the scale to what you need it to do, and you can start sketching your new details to scale quickly in review as well. If you need a quick sketch, a quick add-in, right, you can quickly do that within review too. And then if you created a custom markup that had a scale to it, right? I don't think the general, was it design symbols? I don't think you could just type in the scale here. It's like a level, but
yeah,
I guess it could work.
Yeah, there was one in there where maybe that was on our other episode where we were like, hey, draw a rectangle that's 12 foot by 20 foot.
Yeah, I would just do this, right? Where I would probably cut this. And then use this, right?
Oh.
And then do this, whatever the scale is. So that also has that ability.
That's a neat trick.
I was asked at one point, so is there a markup that could be used to blur out text? Because we can white out, we can cut text, we can mark as a redaction, right? And those capabilities in review. But is there a way to make the text blurry? And I wasn't able to find one.
Ooh. Okay. Because we have the strike through and we have the whiteout.
Yeah, because we can mark things as redactions, right? But
well, isn't that through edit, PDF content, mark for redaction? Whoa, what was that? Add and edit 3D content.
Hold on.
You got
I want to overwrite this one.
You got like a lag going on there. It's pretty slow on my end. Oh, so you can add. Oh, IFC files. What? That's new. Or I've never played with it, I should say. So IFCs, if you don't know, is another sort of universal 3D object, like a PDF or an XML. You can get IFCs from, Revit. You can get them out of Civil 3D. You can get them out of SolidWorks or any of the other 3D software, and it's being a little bit more universal, so more things can read it. So now we can
It's
actually
like an export.
Yeah, we can insert an IFC right into a Bluebeam PDF. This is something I'm going to play with later today.
So I guess you grab your file.
Yeah.
What views?
Oh man, I'm playing with this later for sure. I'll have to go make an IFC file out of something. But so the blurring out, because it's almost like you want to make it look like it was a raster PDF that you zoomed into, right?
You just want to show the text that there was text there and however long the text was indicated for, but that it's blurry, right? Because you don't want them to know what it was.
What if you put a hatch on it and change the hatch color to like slightly off white?
Okay. So like a rectangle markup with a hatch in it.
Yeah. So if we did that and then give it like the dots or something. Well, you don't even need to make. Go to your properties.
See, that's the thing.
And then change your fill color or your hatch color. Like
so
maybe
change
30%
the color.
dots. 30%. Go to 30% dots, and then make that a different white or black. More dots.
Oh, we'll just make this black.
Well, yeah.
Or no fill.
Yeah, no fill.
Where's my dot color here though? My hatch color.
I think you got to if you expand your properties to make your whole thing wider.
There it is.
I think it's hiding there next to your hatch.
What color?
Oh, yeah. See, there we go. Oh, you had one that kind of stippled it out.
The white?
Maybe not white. Maybe you can pick something that's a little. Use the Isn't there another option where you can pick from the rainbow? Go to the bottom arrow. There you go. Maybe white with 10%. Yeah, it's starting to get a little closer. Oh, Chris. What did he put in here? There's a link for redaction. Oh, there's something on Reddit, but Reddit's blocked at ATG. Let's see. How do I dim? Yeah, we'll play with this some more.
But yeah.
Thanks for that, Chris.
You know how you can blur things out, like a blurry mark I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do. Well, that's what was asked, I guess.
And that would be a perfect, like, once you figure it out, add it to a tool set.
Or my thing would be a stamp, right? It's a stamp.
Ooh, that would be smart.
The way it's blended could be the item for it.
So Chris found a YouTube video on the subject, but I'm not going to try to watch it and talk because it'll just be dead air. So we'll take a look at that.
If we figure it out
over. Yeah, maybe we'll find another way to get that out there. Because that would be handy, but at the same time, it would kind of make a mess if you were trying to actually print these, right? And go from PDF to paper.
Yeah, it was just asked, so somebody was trying to figure out how we could do that. I just know that Mark Redaction is really the one that we would utilize for blacking out an area in in like a Word document, right? If we're not trying to see any text.
Right.
You are aware of where those were made as well, so you can go through and change them, delete them, whatever you need to do for those ones.
Instead of just taking the edit text or the cut content tool and cut it out and then just add the words that you actually want.
Yeah.
That's just what I normally do. Then it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly what you said. You lose track of where things were.
Yeah.
Because when you cut content, that doesn't show up in the markups list.
Yeah. So it's here,
There's no
right?
record of it. Mhm.
Yeah, it's gone. So, well, what was there? Was there anything there before? So you can make that informed decision versus removing the content that was actually there. But what else? What did anyone attend that they wanted to share with us that we didn't cover that was very informative from XCON?
I know some of you guys went, although it didn't like necessarily give us a group of participants, right?
Yeah. It will be hopefully next year they have it in person and we'll be able to meet everybody in person.
Didn't they say San Diego?
Did they? I thought that's where it was
Because,
supposed to be.
well, in my brain, I'm supposed to be in San Diego most of the time. Just
I don't think
beaches,
did they
beer,
announce
burritos.
Yeah,
I heard, I think I saw it on LinkedIn that there was going to be XCon in San Diego, and you better believe
confirmed?
we'll be there. Yeah, maybe, hopefully.
Okay,
Fingers crossed.
we'll
At
see.
least, honestly, I'd be just as happy to have the world go back to normal so we can all meet in person again.
I agree.
I'll go to Cleveland or some other place that isn't, I mean, no disrespect to Cleveland, but I've been told it rocks, but go some other city that isn't exciting just for the fact that the world is back to normal and we can all gather and learn and network, right?
Yep.
That'd be fun.
So we have a pretty exciting month coming up. We have everything structured for what we're going to be talking about next week. Jason, you will be out of town. Is that correct?
Yep. Headed down to Texas.
And we will have Doug on to talk about some of his workflows and things that he's created through his time in using Review. Then, we also have next week is our other edition of the West Coast, right? And we'll be going back to basics with Matt.
Yeah. So 2 special guests
on the
next
13th.
week. It'll be exciting. I mean, it'll be exciting for you all. It'll be disappointing for me because I will miss you all. I obviously really, really enjoy doing these morning coffee reviews. So every time I'm not able to participate, it saddens me a little bit. I wish I was with y'all, but it's all good. You'll be in good hands with Doug. Share some cool stuff. Both you guys are out in Pacific time, so you'll be getting up early. Make sure you caffeinate accordingly.
Yes. Usually Jason's here to combat my tiredness if I have any lapses. So
yeah, it's all good. It's all good. And then of course we've got DJ CJ running the show. So we'll be all, we won't skip a beat. But we have, like Michael said, usually when we're coming up with topics, it's usually like the day before or a couple days before, and DJ CJ is just saying, hey, what are you going to talk about? And we have to figure it out. But we're actually ahead of the game, and we're like a month or two ahead of the topics that we want to talk about. So as always, these topics are coming from your survey results. So at the end of these sessions, Zoom will pop up, give you an opportunity to say, hey, these guys were great or they were terrible and they should get better at this. And hey, we should also talk about, a call out markup and how to make it blue. Okay, let's talk about it.
Yep.
Those are the things that we're responding to. These aren't always just our wild and crazy ideas. These are comments and suggestions from you, the community. What do you want to know? What are you working on? What's, giving you fits? Let's work on it.
Exactly. We're here for you all. Those comments and how we can perform better are always looked at, as well as any questions or things you are looking forward to. Again, we are here for all of you. As likewise, everyone in here that has been attending for a while is always here to give advice as well. So we're here building the community to make everyone's workflows more efficient and learn new things, right?
Maybe have a little fun along the way.
Yep.
I don't know. That's what I tried to do. Excellent. So yeah, next week we'll have Doug come in and help out with some of his unique workflows, and then we're doing our special West Coast edition. That way, Michael doesn't have to wake up as early, and work on 8:30 Pacific time. And we'll have Matt Lynn from our architecture team come in and help with some of that back to basic stuff, which has always been, regardless of your skill level, the back to basics is always you'll pick up something. It's like, oh, I forgot about that, or I never learned that when I started. So that'll be exciting too. Matt's a good dude, and yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, it'll be a nice week planned for the following week. And again, at any point, if you do have questions, you can reach out to us via email, or our LinkedIn always is open for questions as well. So if you ever have anything that you need to ask us, feel free to reach out to us. We're always here to help you. But anything else to add, Jason?
Well, I'm going to put us on the spot because we started talking about XCON and what we learned and what got us excited. And we both went to Liz's class about JavaScript, and we're going to have to figure out JavaScript because I feel like that might be a topic in the coming months. I'm not going to put a deadline on it though, because we're both busy, but it'll be fun to be able to have that conversation when the time is right.
Yes, you do have JavaScripting Windows in here. The one that they were utilizing was in the PostScript as well. So going through and doing that for like forms. So there's different areas to gain access to your JavaScript, right? So you can go down and you can do forms, and you can have JavaScripting in here, and you can add a script code from here as well as you're going through and adding
easy,
these.
But again, Extreme only if you're trying to follow along and you don't see that because you don't have Extreme. I'm sorry.
So make sure if you are going to join, or if you just want to have maybe a pitch of why we need Extreme, feel free. Once we learn this, we will announce. Once we are more informed about the workflow, we will announce that we will be talking about it as well. Or maybe, who knows, we can get Liz to come and show us as well.
That'd be fun. And speaking of things, all of these sessions have been recorded. They're all on our YouTube channel. Hopefully, you've been able to go back, and our magical DJ CJ has been kind enough to go through some of our old episodes and put a label on them. So now we can say, oh, look, remember when we talked about standard versus CAD and Extreme? Well, that was actually whatever day that was, because they're labeled. So thanks for that. Does make it easy if you are having that conversation. Do I need CAD or Extreme or standard?
Yep.
Go check out that video, but JavaScript is a big part of that.
Yep.
And forms. Since you mentioned forms and JavaScript together. Both of those are Extreme only. Yeah,
and we did do forms, right? We talked about forms and the ability to export data with forms, right? From here, the exporting of data function. So forms is another topic that we have already talked about. But it is an Extreme function to go through and add and automatically create these form fields. Again, Bluebeam Review Extreme.
And, like always, sometimes there might be a duplicate subject. And it's not because we just ran out of information. It's just maybe we've learned something, right? We deal with Bluebeam Review all the time from dealing with you guys in the community and other clients and customers. Maybe we'll talk about callouts again because we've learned something, just like we did today with the shift and control. So it's not that these topics are, one and done. We'll recycle them and add some touches as we learn ourselves.
Yep. We're always learning.
And we hope you are too, because that's, it's a satisfying part of work regardless of what we're doing. Whenever we can add efficiency or something to make our lives easier, we're here for it. Let's share it. And, it's exciting.
Agreed. Well, we are at the half an hour, so we are done. If there are any questions, again, please do the review at the end so that we know what we can talk about later on, get some ideas for us as well, or how we can be better performers on here and talk about things. So be sure to fill that out. Anything else, Jason?
That's it. I want to thank, Thanks, Doug, for filling in for me next week. Thank everybody for showing up today. Thank you, all of you on YouTube. And of course, thank you, DJ CJ. Thank you, Michael. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
See you in a couple.